myself.
Okay, I think we're live. I'm going to I think we can just bounce ideas off each other. I'm going to turn the camera towards the kids once we kind of decide how we want to do it. I think there's some other classes going to join, so we may wait a couple more minutes just to be sure. What do you think? Can you hear me, Heather?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, I was muting it.
No, you're good.
Let me see if minutes and then this will be just like last year.
I know.
We had,
guys, when we get started, I'll turn the camera a little more towards you guys.
I have a mix of my kiddos. I couldn't get any second
grade. That's good.
We have some first, third, and fourth.
Okay.
Perfect.
What age group do you have with you?
We have third, fourth, and fifth. So all of my third, fourth, and fifth grade GT students are here. So it looks like somebody else has joined. Who you want to introduce yourself and share where you guys are from?
Hi. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I'm Hamza, and I have my friend William, and we're from Canada.
Awesome. Very cool.
In Toronto.
Very cool. Okay, well, we are going to go ahead and we'll get started. We are going to just talk about Genius Hour, and the students are going to share why they like it. You guys can share if you guys are doing Genius Hour, if you love it, why you love it, and kind of how you, I know we all do Genius Hour differently, so I thought we could share kind of how we do it, what makes it work, and maybe we can get some good ideas from each other. Does that sound good? Thumbs up?
I have one.
Okay. All right, so we are going to start, if it's okay, we'll start. I'm going to ask a couple of kids to just share what Genius Hour is and what it means to them, and then we can just go through and we can all share that if that's okay. Does that sound good? Okay, so who wants to share first? Who wants to share what Genius Hour? Alex, you want to share what Genius Hour is and just what you shared with me earlier, what Genius Hour means to you?
Time during school where you can express your creativity.
Good. Zoe?
It's a time when you can, it's when kids in your class, when they're like, oh, I know this, I know that, and it just gets boring for them because it's all easy for them. Genius Hour is a time for them when there's some challenge at school, and they actually have a challenge.
Okay, very good. Okay, Emma?
I think one of the reasons Genius Hour is important in what it means to me is also, like, it's a time where, like, if you want to do, like if you wanted to build something in Minecraft and, like, you just didn't have time at home, you could do it in GT.
Okay, very good. What do you guys think about Genius Hour? How would you describe it in your own words?
We have Rylan here that has.
I think Genius Hour is a way for us to, like, make what we want and give ourselves more of a challenge so it's not too easy for us. And so we can just stop all junk.
Okay. Anybody else want to share what Genius Hour means to you? Steven, you want to share?
It's like a time where you can just get out of class and do something physical and not work hard.
Okay, so just doing hard things, it sounds like it's part of Genius Hour. Colton?
Genius Hour to me is a way that you can be very creative and try to make whatever you want. And even if you fail, that just makes it where you want to try again and you want to try harder next time. And failing is pretty much the whole thing about Genius Hour. Failing and then trying something new. Failing.
It's very cool. Would you guys agree with that? How do y'all feel about failure in Genius Hour? That's a good topic to talk about, just experiencing that.
If you fail, like he said, try harder next time and learn from your mistakes. See what you did wrong.
Very cool. So what are let's share some specific failures maybe we've experienced in Genius Hour, and then how we've kind of gotten around those failures, or how we've dealt with them or reacted to failing. Because I know for us, we talk about failure a lot in my class, and how sometimes it's just a roadblock. It's not necessarily something that's going to shut down the project. It may just be something that either takes you in a different direction, or you just need to come up with a plan B or plan C, right, or plan Z. So let me see if any of my students want to share about failure, a time that you failed in Genius Hour and had to try again. You want to share, Katie? Okay. Maybe trying to get on. I know you're writing a book, and so it's been a little. Sometimes you have days where you can't really think about what you want to write. Yeah. So how do you get around that?
I write it.
Okay. So you just have to start writing, right? Okay. Who else wants to share? Sadie, you want to share?
In the marine biology project, we couldn't get past finding an outside expert.
Okay. Yeah.
It took forever to find one.
Yeah. And then did we finally find one? I don't remember. Okay. So, but we just had to keep looking. We had a lot of no's, and then finally had to get somebody who would. So, do you guys want to share some specific failures you've had in Genius Hour?
Oh, Lainey has one.
Okay, so I didn't know how to draw a lizard.
And then what did you do?
And I looked at videos and got better.
Oh, very cool. So she ended up having to actually look it up and learn from somebody else how to do it, it sounds like.
Yeah. Was there anyone else in there that had something that?
Anybody else? Okay, so far, does anybody have any questions about Genius Hour that you want to ask the kids? I thought we would do like a little question and answer session, and then maybe we could share some specifics of how our Genius Hour works. Anybody on y'all's end? Questions?
We had a question. Who had it? Krista, you got one? Kamara? They want to know what Genius Hour is. We haven't started it yet, so we're just kind of listening to y'all and getting ideas. So they want to know what Genius Hour means to them.
Awesome. So let's talk about what Genius Hour means, what Genius Hour is specifically. Who can explain? Jason, can you explain what it is?
It's a time where some individuals come into a room with other people who are just like them, and they think everything's easy in class, so they come here to challenge themselves.
Okay, sounds like you're describing, so he may be describing our GT class, but specifically Genius Hour. So the part of class where we work on Genius Hour, what is that, Landry?
It's a passion that you have, and you want to do something with it, so you do this project that you can learn something about, and then you can do something.
Good. So basically in our class, we define a Genius Hour project as a project where students choose their passion, what they want to learn about, and then they go through some steps to learn about that and come up with a project and a product, and then we share that out with the world through our blogs, and then obviously through Twitter and different things. So I guess that would define it. Does that make sense to you guys? Do you have any other questions about it or want to know anything else specific?
How about, it might be a good idea to have like a few of the kids share what their Genius Hour project is.
Yeah, that was my next question.
Yeah.
Heather, why don't you start that?
Oh, okay.
Good idea. I didn't even think about that. So yeah.
I actually have 4, so we can just pop through all of them.
Yeah.
Say what yours is.
My Genius Hour project is on trampolines.
What about trampolines? Like, what did you research on trampolines?
Who invented them, when they were invented, and why they were.
And then what are you going to do for your project? You want to learn to do what?
I want to learn how to make one.
Okay.
So what was your Genius Hour project? We're going to go around there.
Learning about lizards, because I wanted a pet lizard.
So what did you do for your project?
I learned about lizards.
And then? when you learned about it, how did you share it?
I did Adobe Voice.
Yeah, she made a digital product on Adobe Voice about lizards, explaining it. Okay, so Rylan, what was yours?
I was working on M&Ms. I learned why is there an M stamped on them. I learned who made them. I learned what the ingredients were and how to make them.
And so what was your final product?
Making a video and putting it on YouTube.
Yeah, so he actually made M&Ms in class and made like a little cooking segment on how to make M&Ms. Okay, and then last one's Cody.
I'm doing stop motion animation, and I'm learning who created it and how to make it, and I'm making the movie as my product.
That's hard. That's what we're doing.
Very cool. Any of the other classrooms want to share some of your, is anybody else doing Genius Hour and want to share their projects, what you're doing? Okay, some of my guys, y'all want to share your project and what you made? Colton, go ahead and share about your project.
My project is I wanted to make a robot that goes around the school and either says nice things, like records nice things that I would say and say them to other people, or sends around nice letters.
Very cool. So he is in the process of, we're getting in contact with our robotics club at the high school to let them be his outside expert.
But we're still trying to find time for them to come because I haven't worked on that project in a long time.
Yeah, so he actually ended up having to move on to something different for now while we work that out. And I think that's one of the things with Genius Hour is it's messy and it's definitely not always easy. We have to find ways around things and challenges, and but that's the great thing about it is it teaches them to be flexible and to kind of like we talked about, coming up with a plan B and dealing with those hard things that happen. Okay, who else wants to share their project? Mia, you can come. You're going to have to come stand in front because I can't turn the camera. Real quick, Mia.
My project is Solution. I'm making a website.
You're making a website about?
Saving the animals.
Okay, very good. Okay, Hunter?
I forgot.
Okay, Landry? Yeah, you and Macy can come share about your project real quick, and then that's going to be the last one for now, and you guys can answer some other questions.
Macy and I are doing a project about animal abuse. We're making a book and also a movie about it.
Very good. Could y'all hear them? They're making a book and a movie about animal abuse. So animal abuse is a popular topic here in Genius Hour for sure. Jack, you want to share real quick, and then that'll be the last one for now, and then we're going to take some questions. Y'all hear them? They're making a book and a movie about animal abuse. Okay, go ahead, Jack.
Okay. On Minecraft, and it's just like football, but
So you're making a football field
yes, I'm making a football field
on
Minecraft.
Very cool. All right. Okay, I see some new people have joined. Do y'all want to check in and tell us where you're from and if you guys are doing Genius Hour or not?
Hey there, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm actually a tech facilitator in some elementary schools, and would really love to explore this in our elementary schools. And you may have said this at the beginning. I was just a little late, but how often do you do Genius Hour? Is it something you do once a week or once a few hours during the day?
That's a good question. So does anybody want to answer how often we do it, and then Heather's class can share how often they do it? Alex, why don't you share how often we do Genius Hour?
Every week on Tuesday.
Yeah, so I see each class once a week, and we have about 3 hours. They have about 3 hours in my classroom, and Genius Hour is our priority. We also do a focus topic every week. Like this 6 weeks, it's our depth and complexity novel studies. But we spend most of our time on Genius Hour. That's our priority. And so they work on it once a week for, I would say, about 2 hours, hour and a half or 2 hours a week.
Okay.
Heather, you want to share how often y'all?
Yeah, ours, so we do it with our kids. So we have, I book 4 days for our first hour day, and then do like a focus lesson of this, and then do Genius Hour. Yeah, our 15 with our a day, so we get an hour to an hour and a half or so a week is really what we do. But we really try and get to work on it a little bit every day. So it's not the whole time they're in here.
That's awesome. Anybody else want to share if you're doing Genius Hour and how often you do it? No, y'all are good?
Hi. Oh, we would like to share. Our grade didn't actually do it. It was the grade 7s that did it, but it was this huge project for them. And then we had all their projects set up in the library, and everyone, the whole school was invited. Not the whole school, but people could come around and we could view their projects and they could present to us. And it wasn't like an annual thing. They did it just like once in the year, almost like a science fair.
Very cool. That's a good idea, too, to let everybody do it, for sure. I think we did something like that. I know Heather did, too, called Innovation Day, where everybody kind of got to do their own project. So that's very cool. Okay, so I thought we would talk about now how we do Genius Hour. Definitely in my class, teaching elementary, I saw very quickly that we kind of needed to have a map to follow because what was happening was we were getting involved, and I think the students would agree. Okay, so I thought we would talk about now how we do Genius Hour. I hear feedback from, it's replaying what I'm saying. I was like, who is that? So we actually had to come up with kind of a map that would guide us through the project so that we could see where we were supposed to be and kind of steps we needed to follow as we went through the process. So we came up with something called 6 Ps. And we start out with passion, then students give their pitch, then they plan their project, work on their project, come up with a product, and then finally do a presentation. So I think that's kind of the layout of most Genius Hours as far as how they do it. We just came up with 6 Ps to help us remember the steps. So is that kind of the process everybody goes through? Would you guys want to, do y'all want to share?
Yeah, we love your 6 Ps. We have it hanging up in our room.
Awesome.
Refer to it all the time because it really does kind of lay out a good idea for them, like where they need to be and where they need to go. Because sometimes I think it's hard to stick on a focus, especially when it's a project that lasts this long. So it's always good to remember. But most of ours right now, I think most of us are on the project or just finished, and we're about to start back at our passion to choose a new project. So yeah, we love yours. Thanks for sharing all that.
Very cool. Well, I think it helps us just kind of stay focused, and so I thought we would kind of go through the 6 Ps and share about each step, and maybe each student can kind of share. We can have different students share what that part of Genius Hour means to them, and maybe what their passion, their pitch, all that. So let's talk about passion first. So I think that's kind of difficult for older kids to come up with sometimes just because they learn how to play school and they're not really prepared to be asked what they want to learn about. But for elementary kids, I think when we ask them what they learn about, what they want to learn about, while they're a little bit surprised at first, after some practice and looking at some websites and learning what passion means, it was easy for us to come up with. So does anybody want to share kind of what your passion is, what gets you super excited and what you want to learn more about? Noah?
Me and Jason, we're gonna build like a village on Minecraft, and we're gonna have cafes and everything.
Good. So I have a lot of kids who are super passionate about Minecraft. Do you guys have that same experience? They're all muted. Minecraft is definitely popular around. Who else wants to share their passion? Antonio?
I'm building, it's something called Gaga Ball. I'm building one for our school, and I'm going to make a website about the rules.
Yes, we do.
Popular around. Who else wants to share their passion?
We do. We do.
Okay.
I'm building.
I think it's a little bit behind, but y'all go ahead and share. There's a class that just said they wanted to share, so we're ready to listen. I think the feed is a little bit behind there. Let's see if we can wait for them to share. Let's see. Eric, does your class want to share their passions?
Okay, hi. Hopefully it's not delayed too much.
The feed is a little bit behind there. Let's see if we can wait for them to share.
Let's see if it goes.
Let's see. Eric, does your class want to share their passions?
Yeah, we were just commenting on. Okay, hi. Hopefully it's not delayed too much. There.
Want to share their
They
passions?
really like
Yeah,
Minecraft.
commenting on. Okay, hi. Hopefully it's not delayed too much.
I know.
I don't know why that's
They
happening.
really like Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft is definitely popular.
Should we do it again?
Want to share their passions? Real quick, Brooke.
Helping animals in need.
Okay, helping animals in need. That's another popular one. Alex.
Drawing.
Okay, drawing. Zoe.
I want. Can I share about my last?
Just share what your passion is real quick, and then we'll get to.
Well, last time was waterfalls.
Okay, waterfalls was definitely something she wanted to learn about, and she actually ended up designing a real working waterfall, which is really cool, and they created a website about waterfalls. So, do you guys want to share some more of your passions if it's not too far behind? I hope we're not lagging too bad.
Really new.
Okay. What's your passion? What are you passionate about? What are you excited about?
I really wanted to do lizards because I loved lizards.
Yeah.
I wanted to make M&Ms so I could bring them to like birthday parties and my family, and if I'm ever hungry, I can just have some at home.
And why, Lily, can you tell why you wanted to learn about trampolines?
I wanted to learn about trampolines because I'm a tumbler and I was just really interested in like how they were made, like the history of trampolines. Ew.
Y'all have gotten my kids' wheels turning, and now they want to share their passions with you guys. But like I said, we haven't done this, but I'm really excited that their gears are already starting to.
Awesome. Let's hear it.
Go ahead. Like, speak loud.
I have been making a animal shelter on Minecraft.
Okay, Leilani.
I have passions because I have passions for building because I found an old shopping cart and I turned it into like a little type of plane thing.
Cool, Jacob.
My passion is to be a firefighter.
Okay, anybody else want to share real quick while we're on here? Go ahead.
My passion is to build things on Minecraft. My passion is to play baseball.
Okay. Anybody else real quick? Lila?
My passion is to play softball.
Go Wes.
My passion is to play basketball.
James?
My passion is to play football.
Krista?
Can I go get?
Hold on, let Krista in here.
When I get home done with my homework, I go on to my brother's account to make a passion of a house with lots of animals.
Do you have one to see?
Animals.
No, you don't want to get in there. Okay, Jacob, last one.
My passion is to be a basketball player. Can I do
I want to learn how to build a working bat to play softball with.
And last one, Cade.
My passion is to play basketball.
Half of my class is at PE, so these are the ones that wanted to stay behind and listen to you guys and collaborate just a little bit more.
Very cool. I love that the one little girl shared that what her passion was, and she talked about how she does it when she gets home from school after she does her homework. I think that's the thing with Genius Hour. When we first started Genius Hour 2.5 years ago, we getting those wheels turning, and that was what we had to talk about, like what is passion, and we talked about it being something that you think about all the time and something you do when maybe nobody else knows you're doing it. Or I even told my kids sometimes if you could sit down at the computer and Google anything and somebody wasn't telling you what you had to research, what would you research? And that was helpful to kind of get them thinking about, oh yeah, I am into this thing, or I do like to learn about this. Because like I said, when you first ask them what they want to learn about, their first thing, the elementary kids especially, they're going to react with like what they just did, what they want to be when they grow up and what they want to do, which is awesome because they can start learning about that now. And then even as they move into middle school and high school, start going in that direction if that's something they're still passionate about. So Genius Hour is awesome for that. Eric, are you guys caught up with us? I don't know if y'all can hear us or if we're still behind. We may still be behind. Okay, so let's move on and talk about pitch. So does anybody here want to share pitch and kind of how we did it, and then we'll hear from the other classes how they did pitch. I don't know if y'all can hear us or if we're still behind.
Yeah, there's no lag on our end. I don't know if there's a lag on yours.
Let's move on and talk about pitch. Maybe it's on our end. I can hear myself on y'all's thing, and it seems like it's behind where I actually am. So that's weird. I don't know why it's doing that. But you guys just jump in anytime you want, and I'll stop talking so you can start talking. We're going to talk about pitch now. So if any of you guys, let's let them share first. Have you guys had any experience? Have y'all done pitches before when you pitch your project? How do y'all do that with Genius Hour?
Our kiddos, we pitched. Our first graders didn't pitch, but the older ones did. Does anyone want to share what they did for their pitch? Yeah. Go ahead. Well, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, like, a pitch is like telling someone, like, all your people that are watching you, like, what you're gonna do and what your project is gonna be. So my pitch was that I was gonna make a trampoline, and I was gonna learn about trampolines, and I shared that with my.
And do you remember what did we do at the end of the pitches? We asked for what?
Opinions or suggestions.
Yeah. And that, I think asking at the end if anyone had anything that they can add to it helped springboard more ideas of what they could research. So I think that was helpful. Rylan?
For my pitch, we have a 3D printer in here. Since I hadn't made my M&Ms yet, I made an M&M from the 3D printer. I talked about what I was gonna do with my M&M project, what I'm gonna learn, and then at the end, I asked if anyone had any questions.
Yeah, that's how we did our pitches.
Very cool. I think that's the great thing about the pitches is once they pitch their project, collaborating with the rest of the group to get ideas. And, one kid would pitch and another student would say, oh, I know somebody who could be your outside expert, or, oh, I know somebody who could help with that, or, maybe I can help you with this part of it. So I think that collaboration, it really brings in that piece of the puzzle. At the end of their pitch, hearing back from their peers and hearing what they think will work and what they think will not work. So do you guys agree?
That sounds great. Have you done anything across grade levels?
Do you mean like having several grade levels working together?
Yes, yes.
We did that on Innovation Day. We had we based it on their interest and not their grade level, so they were all in different rooms. But as far as Genius Hour goes, just because of how my classes are set up, it is all third graders, all fourth graders, and all fifth graders. Last year, we had some high school students come over and work with us and helped us, and that was awesome because they were able to kind of do some innovative things, and every one of them said, like, where was Genius Hour when I was in elementary school? They were so excited about it. So definitely something to think about doing in high school as well as elementary and middle school.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's move on. Before we go on, we actually based our pitches around Shark Tank, and I can share all the links that we're going to talk about after the session. I'll share them on the event page. But we based our pitches around Shark Tank, the TV show, and we watched a really cool video on YouTube of a good pitch by kids. And then we kind of followed that, and then my students have a Google form that they fill out for the pitch. And when they're ready to do that pitch, they send their Google form to me, and I know they're ready because we're all in different spots on our project. So that's an easy way for me to keep up with who's ready to pitch and who's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so the third step is planning. So this is kind of the part where we decide we've decided on our project, what we want to do, and then we start planning it out, like exactly what we're going to do. Who wants to share kind of some important things you need to keep in mind when you're planning your project? What are we trying to find out there? Emma?
Well, one thing you want to kind of find out is, like, say you're building something in Minecraft. You want to figure out, like, what you want it to look like, what blocks you want to use, and what types of, like, doors and stuff like that you want to use.
Okay. What are some other things you need to figure out when you're planning? Jillian?
What materials you need.
Okay. What materials you need? Macy?
How much time it will take you to build it.
Okay. How much time the project is going to take you? That's a good thing to bring up, Macy. I don't put a time limit on my students. We basically have the 6 Ps and they follow that process. If they finish a project in 3 weeks, then they go right back up to Passion and start over. If their project takes them all year, then that's fine too. It's just totally their call, because what I found was when I was limiting them to 1 project a semester, one of 2 things was happening. Either they were stretching the project out just to have something to do in class when they could have been moving on and learning something new, or they were they would just finish their project super early and not have anything to do, or the project needed longer and they didn't have enough time to finish it. So hopefully that made sense. Alex, real quick, what's one more thing you need to find out? There's a really important thing. Permission from your parents, and what else?
No, like from like teachers.
Oh, okaying it with your teacher. Are they good with your project? That's kind of in pitch. And then finally, you need to talk to somebody. Who do you need to talk to? Jack?
You, an outside expert.
Very good. You're outside expert. So that's a big part of Genius Hour. I first learned about Genius Hour from Dawn Wettrick, and I think that was what was so intriguing to me, was the outside expert piece of Genius Hour, learning from people in the community. So what are y'all's experiences with outside experts?
Sorry, my kiddos have to go. They have tests in a few minutes, and I have to send them back to class. But we did want to share about our outside expert experience because they've been pretty phenomenal. Our district bought into NEPRIS, which connects you to community professionals. And so NEPRIS has been absolutely fantastic for this because the students request a session through NEPRIS, and then they find a professional to go on with that session. So, for example, I don't know, I'm gonna roll the other way, and Cody's gonna roll up. Cody was learning about animation and is still learning about animation, and so he filled out a request to speak to an animator, and he had a video conference. You want to talk about it? Kind of. They had a video conference, and they talked for probably, I don't know, 45 minutes. And what did he talk to you about?
What he uses to do animation, like what you should use and how to use it, and what to do.
Yeah, and so he kind of gave him some good tips. But then the really cool thing afterwards is he sent an email afterwards and wants to see his work. So it'll become like a mentor process throughout his entire Genius Hour project, which could be the entire year because he's going to do different types of animation. So I totally recommend NEPRIS if you can subscribe and get into that. It's a great way to find experts.
That's very cool. So it's pretty easy to do. I mean, it's not difficult to get on there. Did he go in and fill it out himself?
Yeah, I'll pull it up. It's under my account, and I'll pull it up, and I'll kind of sit with them to make sure it's like, make sure that they understand it. But that was just the first time that they filled it out. But from that point on, they can really fill it out themselves. It's pretty quick and easy because it's basically ask what they want to learn about, what kind of expert they want to talk to, what are some questions they have, and then I sat down and helped them pick the dates, to make sure that we have like the dates and the times right. And I can't really say it's a complaint because I guess my only thing that I wish that would work a little more seamlessly, it takes up to 3 weeks for them to find an expert. But they found a trampoline. Lily wanted to talk to a trampoline engineer or manufacturer. They found one for her. They found someone to do like a candy one. They found an animator. I mean, they'll find just anybody that you ask for. So it's pretty amazing.
Very cool. That sounds really. So that's NEPRIS. Is it just nepris.com?
Yeah, but if you look at nepris.com, it's NEPRIS. So
Okay.
we've had great experience with them.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. And so do your kids have to go right now?
Yeah, unfortunately, sorry, they all have math tests, and I promised to get them back around 9:30.
I totally understand. Well, if you want to hang out, Heather, because I know you have more to share, so if they want to go back and you want to jump back on, feel free.
Cool, thank you. It was nice.
Bye, y'all. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye, y'all later.
Hey, my kids have to go too. I gotta send them to PE, and I've got a meeting I'm a little late for, so we gotta run too. But I'll be connecting with you guys on Twitter for sure. So, thank y'all for having us today.
Bye, guys. Thank you. We are going to finish really quickly going through the 6 Ps. We're almost done, and we will definitely wrap up by 10. So after we plan, we come up with our materials, our outside expert, and all of that good stuff. We start on the actual project. So this is when the kids really get to get their hands dirty and really get to start working on the project, and I kind of step back and just let them have free reign. If they bring their materials and they take care of business and they're on task, then they're good. But it's, like I said, Genius Hour is really messy. Kids are, doing their thing, and everybody is working on something different. It can be very loud. It can be a little bit stressful to be stretched that far and trying to help everybody. But I think it's just building that culture of them understanding that it's their project, and they may have to do some extra things because I'm not an expert on some of the things that they're learning about, so they have to find other resources. Or any of you guys that are still in the chat, would you guys agree with that it's messy and kind of a little bit stressful sometimes?
I agree that it can kind of, I guess because it's so long and ongoing, and I'm sorry I had to step away for a second, so hopefully this wasn't said, but because it is such a long ongoing process, they've got to learn a lot of grit and
yeah, we would totally agree.
That it can kind of
Everybody's muted their mics now.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a lag maybe on my end. I don't know. I don't know how to fix it, but hopefully you guys can hear us. And yeah, I think it's definitely the project part.
Okay, is that working?
Oh, okay, I can hear you. Are you talking right now?
Maybe I should try without the video.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a lag maybe on my end. I don't know. I don't know how to fix it,
Okay.
but hopefully you guys can hear us. And yeah, I think it's definitely the project part.
Okay, is that working?
I'm going to wait and let Eric talk. I'm going to just wait and let it catch up. Come on.
It's not working.
Okay, maybe it's. Okay, all right, he's just going to listen. So we'll go on and talk. So yeah, I think it's definitely just something you have to let go of and be okay with them all learning at their own pace and doing their own thing, which for me is awesome. There's nothing that makes me happier than watching the kids work during Genius Hour and be passionate about what they're doing. During this time, one of the questions we get a lot is, do you let them work with partners? If they're passionate about the same thing, and I notice that when we fill out our brackets and we are sharing our pitches, then I will ask them, if they want to work with a partner or not. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. But if I see that they're passionate about the same thing, then that's fine. They're allowed to work with a partner or even in a group. But if it's just their passion and nobody has that in common, then most of the time they just work on their own. However, they can collaborate with anybody in our class. Okay, would you guys agree with that? Yes? All right, so who's working with a partner right now? Okay, Jason, why don't you share with us what you like about working with a partner? Step over here so they can see you in our class.
What I liked about
Okay, would you guys agree with that?
partner
All right, so who's working with a partner right now? Jason, why don't you share with us what you like about working with a partner? Step over here so they can see you in our class.
What I liked about
Okay, would you guys agree with that?
partner
Okay, there we go. Okay, say that one more time, Jason.
whenever one person makes a mistake, the other can fix it, and whenever they don't know, one doesn't know something, the other could.
Very good. And who prefers to work individual? Who prefers to work by themselves? And Emma, why is that? Why do you prefer to work by yourself?
Well, it's like sometimes in partner work, like the other person might not exactly kind of like y'all might have two different like ideas of what y'all are supposed to be doing. Like, so say like on my project, I want to do like a diamond, goldstone like that.
Yes.
And somebody else, if I was working with a partner, might think it's just like glowstone, diamond, glowstone.
So you may have different opinions about how the project should be done. Very good. Okay, very good. So after we start working on the project, the students have to have something to share out as a product. And my students are required to, during project time, at the end of every class period, we do two things. Who wants to share what the two things are we do at the end of every Genius Hour? Caroline?
You blog and do your Trello board.
Very good. They have to blog and they have to do their Trello board. And so that's just a time for them to reflect. And if you guys need something for your students to use as reflection, I talk about these all the time, but they're so awesome. Tony Vincent has a blog called Learning in Hand. And he has some QR reflection codes on his website. And I don't know, you may be able to see it on my board. It's over there kind of taped to the board under our reflection taxonomy by Peter Pappas. But there is a QR code, and they scan that QR code, and it gives them a question like, what grade would you give yourself today and why? Or what's some other questions we've gotten? Sadie?
If you were the teacher, would you criticize yourself?
If you were the teacher, maybe how would you criticize yourself, or how would you, what praise would you get? Landry?
What do you feel about what you learned today?
Okay, how do you feel about what you learned today? Brooke?
How can you keep books from being boring?
Okay. All right, so every time we scan that QR code, it gives us a different reflection question, and that's what they blog about. That kind of gets us to reflect on that deeper level instead of it just being about remembering what we've done. And so after we reflect, we update our Trello boards, and if you guys haven't checked out Trello, oh my goodness. For Genius Hour, it is perfect for managing the projects. It keeps me on track because I know where every kid is. I just click and drag their name. If you want to know more about that, you can email me and I'll be happy to share. But we are huge fans of Trello and Trello boards because it helps us really keep track of the standards that we're learning in our projects. My students track the math, the reading, the science, and the technology standards that they're learning in their project, and that way we're documenting that progress and they're getting to see, oh, I really am learning the standards even though I'm not doing a worksheet, I'm actually doing it, but they're learning by doing that, and that kind of is a visual way for them to see that, if that makes sense. Alex? Go ahead.
There's two people that do.
Oh, okay. All right, so yeah, Alex pointed out that there's two new people that joined, so do you guys want to introduce yourselves and jump into the chat? Okay, maybe not. We'll just move along. So next we have our product, and how do we share our products out with the world? Noah?
Twitter and Facebook.
Twitter. What else? How else do we? Cooper?
By blogging.
Good. And then our blogs and our Trello boards are public. So that's kind of our way of keeping everything public and transparent is by blogging, and I usually share their projects out on Twitter once they're done, whether that's a website or a Minecraft project. And then I post them on our class website as well. So do you guys share your projects out, or do y'all keep them within your classroom?
We use our class Facebook page, so I'll tweet things out and then I'll use our class Facebook page. I was going to ask you though, we set up a WordPress blog for our class. It's kind of a shared blog, but then they're on there where they can categorize themselves, so it kind of makes it like their own page. But I'm not as consistent with that as I want. So I wanted to ask you what you use for your blog to make it kind of run more seamless.
You mean the kids blogs? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like when the kids blog.
Yeah, so we just use Kid Blog, and we just blog at the end of every class period, and then I just open those up publicly, and we'll tweet them out occasionally and ask for comments. You can use the hashtag comments for kids, and then people will sometimes get outside comments. What I love about Kid Blog is that, which you probably know this, Heather, but what I love about Kid Blog is that Any comments that come to them from the outside, I have to approve before they see them, which is awesome because then I have control over who's commenting and what they're getting to see. Did you say y'all use KidBlog? I'm sorry, I was replying to something on the chat and missed it.
We have a WordPress set up for like the class, so which I still have. I can kind of have the control over that to see, you know, what they post, but I want to be more consistent. You said that you do it every day when you end Genius Hour. We're not as good about that. Like we'll reflect. I guess we have simple, quick reflections. Like we'll just kind of post what we do, mostly to like our Facebook page for the parents and stuff. But it's never. I need to do more individual reflections, so that's my goal, to work on that.
Yeah, and I think what works for us is that, you know, we have it set up to where we work on Genius Hour. We usually have a blogging prompt at the beginning of the day, and then they have their freedom to work on Genius Hour. And just before we move on to our focus topic, before we do anything else, it's KidBlog time and Trello time. And they're pretty self-driven in that they've gotten to where they know how to do it. How do you guys feel about blogging? And what are the things you like about it? Who wants to share? Macy?
You can like tell about what you did, what you can do next, and what goals you're setting.
Okay, so it kind of gets your wheels turning of what you need to be doing. I think that's when that QR code comes in really handy, when they can really get their wheels turning about what they need to do next, and instead of just focusing on what they did that day. Sadie?
You can add pictures into it and change everything to make it.
Good. So like changing the font. And so for us, then we're getting in those technology standards, which is great because then they're getting in extra things that come with blogging. Editing. They can go comment on each other. So then we're communicating and collaborating. So does anybody else in the chat blog?
Can I ask them a quick question about their blogs? About how long do you spend on your blog, or like how many sentences is it? Like, you know, my kids just, I think the reason we aren't as good, we were doing once a week, and it would take them like 25 minutes to get something written down. You know, it's like when we only have 45 minutes to an hour in here, it was taking up a big chunk of time.
Okay, so Alex, about how long does it take us to blog?
15 minutes.
Okay, maybe 15 minutes, sometimes 10. About how many sentences do we write?
4,
5 or 6.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they write 4 or 5 sentences on a good day. Sometimes they're 2 or 3 sentences. But as long as they answer that reflection question, then I'm good with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that sounds good. I think more about the response and how they're reflecting, and not how long the reflection is.
Yeah, that was definitely something that was hard for me at first, because when I first started reading their blogs, I was like, oh my goodness, that's only 2 sentences. But then when you think about how much time they have, and you don't want that to take up most of your Genius Hour. So as long as they're replying to that question and I can see that they're doing that, then we're good. Okay, so that's how we share our products out, either on Twitter, through our blogs, or whatever else we're working on. And then finally, we have our presentation. So we've had a couple of people present. I want them to kind of share what you did for your presentation and how that works. All right, Sadie, you want to stand up and share?
We made an iMovie about our project, and we got like our different things, and everybody got to try them out, sort of.
Good. So they shared their iMovie that they created, but then they also had their physical products. They had created dog toys for dogs in shelters, and so then they passed those dog toys around for everybody to get to see and kind of touch. So it was kind of interactive. Do you guys do presentations? Anybody in the chat do presentations?
Yeah, when they finish their final product, they present it, and then we'll present it to the class, but then we'll also have like a GT Expo night, so then they'll get to choose, depending on how many Genius Hour projects they've done, they'll get to choose their favorite, or if they've only done one, or if they're still in the process, then they'll practice their presentation that night for the parents that show up. But it's in ours is with like an art showcase too, so it's pretty much every parent in the school can come. So they get a pretty large audience to present to, which is pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so that's awesome because we were actually talking about in our we have a Genius Hour Voxer group. If any of you want to join and you're on Voxer, let me know and I'll definitely add you to the chat. But we were talking about that the other day about showcasing their projects at the end of the year, and that's not something we've done yet, but it's something we're considering this year. Actually, doing a big showcase where they can showcase all of the projects they've done this year and share with the parents. So has anybody else had experience with showcasing and kind of sharing their projects with the community? Y'all are quiet. Okay, so basically that wraps up. Once they finish their presentation, then they just go right back up to Passion and start on a new project. So that's kind of how the map goes. It's kind of a circle. It's just passion, pitch, plan, project, product, presentation. And that just kind of helps us stay on topic. So, or stay on track so that we know, and especially in elementary, that's important for them so that they know, okay, I just finished my plan, now it's time to start working on my project. I finished my project, now it's time to work on my product. But I think for the most part, does anybody have anything else you want to share about Genius Hour that you just really want to say? If you were trying to encourage teachers to try Genius Hour in their classroom, what would be your piece of advice? What would you want to say? Zoe, go ahead and stand up so they can see you. Okay.
I would suggest a lot of challenging projects instead of really easy projects. Okay. And what's some advice you would give the kids as they venture out on Genius Hour and they start? Think about you guys when you first started Genius Hour, especially you third graders because this was your first year, but you fifth graders also and fourth graders. What is some advice you would give to kids that are just starting Genius Hour? Cooper?
That they even know that you're supposed to learn at school. You learn in Genius Hour, and it's also kind of fun.
Okay, very good. Noah?
Don't limit yourself.
Okay, don't limit yourself. Macy?
Like, you challenge yourself till you can't. It's like, there is no limit. None.
I love it. There is no limit. Sadie?
You have to, like, expect failure for part of it, and then for the next part, like, if you do it right.
Good. Expect failure and be okay with that, right? Because it's going to happen. It's inevitable in Genius Hour that failure is going to happen. Emma?
Well, it's like...
What advice would you give kids about Genius Hour?
Like, if you were, like, say, like, they were teaching, like, multiplication, and you already knew multiplication, you could go to GT and, like, they would give you more of a challenge, and you might be like, oh, I don't know this.
Okay. All right. So that's some great advice, guys, about Genius Hour. Colton, one more, and then we're going to wrap it up.
This week, Jared found something that says, great things never come from comfort zones.
Oh, yeah. Great things never come from comfort zones. We talk about that a lot in here. Like, don't do what you're comfortable doing. Stretch yourself and do something different. Morgan?
Don't put your expectations too high.
Good. Don't set your expectations so high that it's impossible, but we definitely want to set them high enough that we experience some failure and learn to deal with that. So, very cool. I am so glad you guys joined us. Do you guys have any other questions for us? I'm going to mute us, and we'll spend the next 4 or 5 minutes taking questions if you guys have any.
Hi, could you guys please repeat the 6 P's?
Yeah, so our 6 P's. Does anybody want to share the first one? What's the first one? Just the word.
Passion.
Passion.
Pitch.
Pitch.
The plan.
Plan. Project. Product. Presentation. Does that make, did you get all those?
It was Batman.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so that's the process we go through, and like I said, once we wrap that up, we start up with another one. And our class just kind of came up with that as a map to help us. But if it can help other classes, for sure, definitely something we wanted to share because it makes it much easier, I think, for us to get through the Genius Hour process. It's been so fun. Any other questions from you guys?
Oh, that was a great presentation. Thank you for presenting.
Thank you. That's very sweet. Do you guys have anything else you want to say other than thank you?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank y'all for joining our EdCamp Global Hangout. We appreciate it. And if you guys have any questions, you can contact me at McNairAN3 on Twitter, or you can email me at mcnairandy@gmail.com.
Bye.